Catch Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Listen to the home of the 5K Gruber Cash Giveaway. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's Beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Truth to Power on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am your host, Kyle Wallace, and we're coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk and text line. You can always call in, text in at 833-212-1017 at the Truth Talk and text line. What's today? I see no text today. But y'all can always call in and text in at 833-212-1017. In addition to that, you can always watch and stream us live on YouTube at 1017 The Truth on YouTube, at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Give us a like, give us a share, and give us a subscribe today as well. Shout out to my producer, Rhea Riley, on the ones and the twos.
Hey, y'all. Happy Monday.
And welcome to Truth to Power. I'm here. I'm glad I see y'all talking, so I'm glad y'all here today as well, and excited about today's show. And most importantly, want to talk about my weekend and some things as well. But let's hit them with the weekend recap.
Truth Nation, we know you have a busy life and the weekend went by too fast. If you missed any of the headline stories, no worries. We got you covered on the top stories you may have missed. Tap in for the weekend recap on Truth to Power. Kyle, tell Truth Nation the biggest headlines they need to know.
Listen, Truth Nation, I see y'all asking questions, and I was given a directive is that management made the decision, and if you're not happy about the decision, or you're disappointed like any other person disappointed with anything, feel free. You can always contact management and express that, right? And so I know y'all been asking about it. I see y'all in the chat asking about it. I'm not going to ignore anybody because that's not the way I get down. And I've been here from the start. And so I see a lot of people are upset today. And everybody has every right to feel upset and feel how y'all feel. Y'all know, y'all saw how I felt on Friday. But again, the message is management made the decision. And if you're not happy about the decision or you're disappointed with any decision that was made, feel free to contact management and express that via, you can go online and find the information. But, like any listener, any fan, anybody, I get a lot of letters and I get a lot of different things throughout the day. When I was a director of content, I get a lot of a lot of different messages, hate letters, all type of stuff. So a lot of voicemail. So if you feel a certain type of way, you can definitely express it. But I will say this, Truth Nation, I love y'all, and Lord knows that He needed to come through for me when I needed it, right? He needed to come through for me when I needed it. Now, clearly, I had a tough weekend mentally and emotionally, but again, you know, I prayed up, and the Lord knows when I needed it. And let me tell y'all something. I love to eat. Okay, Rhea, you know me. I love free food too. Don't I love free food? I love me some free food. And on Friday, I didn't eat anything. I didn't have an appetite. I was literally at a restaurant. I didn't have an appetite. And on Saturday, I only ate once. Saturday, I didn't have an appetite. Sunday, I only ate once, so I got back to the crib because I was out of town this weekend. I didn't have much. But I say the Lord comes through when you need Him, because this weekend, while I was emotionally going through stuff, I was able to go down to Denver, Colorado to go be with family and to go watch my little cousin play football. And so with that, it was something that I needed. And, listen, it is what it is. But I needed to be with family this weekend, and I had this trip planned to go down to Denver and be with my family to go watch my little cousin Jordan Turner chase his dreams, right? And so I feel like, the timing of anything, something like this, is never perfect, but people are still alive and breathing. And trust me when I say this, those two young individuals who are very talented, they will land on their feet, and they're going to be great, okay? Just understand that, Truth Nation. Good people always prosper. And those two individuals were great people, and they will prosper. Okay? And so they still here, they still living, which is, so, it's not a funeral, right? It's just a disappointment to the community. But do understand that we still living, we still breathing, and we still gonna shine in our greatness. But with that, we need time to still grieve. And Rhea been around me long enough. Rhea, you ain't never really seen me too. I get high and low in a sense of like, on top of it, but I don't get emotional.
No, I've never seen you like that.
And so I needed to be around family. Now, Truth Nation, when I talk about this, the reason why the Lord came through in the right time is so I go down there, my mom, my dad, my brother, me and my brother flew down, my aunties and uncle, my family. We all went down to Denver, Colorado, because my little cousin is currently playing for the Broncos. He's trying out for the Denver Broncos, right? And so he's a special teams guy if he makes the team. He's a rookie, and it's a blessing. And to be able to go down there and be with family, right, was enough. Being in that football stadium down in Denver was enough. But then on top of that, y'all, to see my mama, right, to see my mama watch her nephew, right, to see my little cousin that I've known since he's born, I'm the one who told him, put in your linebacker stance when he's 3 years old, right? To see him in a linebacker stand for the Denver Broncos, to go on that football field and have 5 tackles, to have a sack and a half, to be on the big board, on the big screen, I'm showing him, putting his nameplate up there, to have people praise him, right? To have, after the game, we on the field, and they showing highlights from the game, and they showing his highlights where he had, a sack, he had a quarterback hurry. Y'all, to hear my mama say she is in awe. She was absolutely in awe of the fact that her nephew was on the football field. So I say this, y'all, is that the Lord knows when he needs to come. And I needed that this weekend. I needed to be around family this weekend, and he delivered for me. So I'm just thankful for that, because I need to get my mind in the right place. So Truth Nation, I appreciate y'all. At the end of the day, life does go on. But I delivered the message that I was told to deliver. Listen, community, I feel y'all. Because I understand the history of this community. I fully understand we've gotten stuff torn from us. But again, like I was told to say, is management made a decision. If you're not happy with it or disappointed with it, like anybody else, when you're disappointed with anything that you hear on 620 WTMJ, ESPN Milwaukee, or 1017 The Truth, trust me, I know y'all don't mind sending emails, lengthy emails, and writing letters. So feel free to do whatever you feel you need to do. But that is that. The next thing I want to talk about, Truth Nation, is Burgers. Yes, burgers. Y'all already know there's free burgers that you can get from George Webb because the Milwaukee Brewers won 12 straight games. This is only the third time in franchise history that the Milwaukee Brewers have won 12 straight games. The first time being in 1987, where George Webb had a promotion of free burgers for people if the Brewers win 12 games or more. Now, in 2018, the Brewers also did it, but it was not in just the regular season. It included the playoffs. That's not the same. This is the first time since 1987 that they won 12 consecutive games during the regular season. So what that means for you, Truth Nation, is if you want a free burger from George Webb, you can get one this Wednesday between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Yep, you can grab your free burger between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. this Wednesday from George Webb because the Brewers won 12 games in a row. Now, they were handing out vouchers, but they no longer have those vouchers. They ran out of them vouchers. So that is, shout out to the Milwaukee Brewers, and shout out to the Brewers winning 14 straight games in a row before their streak ended yesterday. It was exhilarating, very, very exhilarating. And lastly, for the weekend recap, Truth Nation, again, 833-212-1017. You can watch and stream us live on YouTube as always. I want to talk about the other big news that happened over the weekend and currently happening now, and that is the world watched Trump and Putin meet in Alaska. Now, this is a significant meeting, Truth Nation, because it is a step towards ending the invasion of sovereign land of Ukraine. And technically, Putin should have been arrested when he came onto American land because based off the International Criminal Court, they had issued an arrest warrant for him back in March of 2023, and it was based off accusations of war crimes and unlawful deportation and transfer of Ukrainian children from occupied areas to Russia. Things are really getting worse in Ukraine right now, and they got to find a peace deal. The president once promised that he would end the war in 24 hours. I'm not a mathematician, as y'all do know, but I do know he was inaugurated, I think, January 20th. He got into office, and we are almost at August 20th, so y'all can definitely do the math and know that it has been almost 8 months, and there still is no resolution really in sight. And I don't think we're close to ending this war. And on top of that, what made me so mad and upset is that I have family members that are veterans, and so to watch the veterans of the United States military have to roll out the red carpet, go on their hands and knees, and roll out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin was something I did not like. Our veterans who protect and serve this country should never have to be on their hands and knees rolling out the red carpet. Have somebody else do that dang job. But especially they shouldn't be doing that for somebody who is a war criminal like Vladimir Putin. Now, the meeting overall, Truth Nation, it had a mixed reaction. There were some people, saying that it was good. Some people saying it was bad. But the end result of it was basically Putin saying, I'll end the war only if we get to keep the land that we've acquired. And the reason why that is troublesome and problematic is because he is saying that in order for him to end the war, he needs to take land from Ukraine. Now, understand this, Truth Nation. Imagine if Canada told us that they wanted to take parts of Washington State. Imagine if they said they wanted to take parts of Minnesota. Imagine if they told us they want to take parts of Michigan, right? Y'all know Windsor and Michigan, there's a lake right there. Imagine if they invaded us and said, give us Detroit, right? Detroit. Go back to the name of Detroit. Imagine if that was to happen. Imagine Mexico went to El Paso and said, we taking El Paso back. Or we're taking San Diego back. Because I don't know if y'all understand or know this, but Rhea, do you know El Paso is Spanish? El Paso? Did you know that's
Yo, for real?
Are you serious? You thought
I'm real. Are you for real? It's El Paso.
Exactly. Did you know San Diego was Spanish?
Yes.
Do we understand, like, that's stolen land?
Yeah.
And so imagine Mexico saying we want to get El Paso back, or we want to get San Diego back. That is basically what this is. And so there is a meeting happening coming up today, but I think it's important for us to understand that we have to figure out which side is Trump on. Is he on the side of freedom, or is he on the side of supporting border integrity, or is he on the side of a dictator in Vladimir Putin? Because I'm very convinced, after he called Vladimir Putin a nice guy, after Vladimir Putin has killed lots of children, I'm convinced that had Hitler been around at this time, Trump would have sided with Hitler as well. And there's nothing he has displayed to me to make me believe anything different based off his characteristics, based off what he has done. Again, so There is a meeting happening today at the White House, and Zelensky and European allies are meeting. And the goal of this Monday meeting today is for the U.S. and Ukraine and European allies of Ukraine to come together to find a lasting peace deal that is the best for Europe and best for Ukraine. And how I know this is very interesting is that Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, has said that the European allies have coordinated their position ahead of the meeting with Trump. So to break that down, what that means is they're here to try to convince Donald Trump to be on their side. So right now we have Donald Trump choosing between Russia and choosing between our allies. Interesting times that we live in. It just seems like maybe we have a lapdog as our president. But this has been your update for today. Again, y'all can text in, call in. Listen, best of luck. I'm responding to everything. All right, so if y'all got questions on YouTube, I'm more than happy to talk to y'all. But do understand, I appreciate y'all being here today. I appreciate y'all listening. And the show, the show has to go on. And we're going to talk about Hackem today because Truth Nation, there's more to talk about with Hackem. There was an audit that came with Hackem, and some good results came from it. So in 3 minutes, Truth Nation, when we come back on the other side, we're going to have a conversation talking about some news that broke last week about the housing authority of the city of Milwaukee. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. I love y'all, Truth Nation, and we do this for y'all. We'll be back in 3.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments. Behind the Bucks is Bucks history, like you've never heard it before. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Step right up and gaze into my crystal ball. I see flashing lights, spinning reels, and a big win. This August, you have a ticket to a cash carnival at Potawatomi. Play with your rewards card and earn entries to win your share of $300,000 in cash and prizes. Prize drawings every Thursday through August 28th. Your fortune awaits only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. As an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Come on, Rhea. I need, you know, I know I've told you we want non-licensed music, but I need to turn up. I need to get my energy right. Thank you, Rhea. But while why we got Jeezy playing in the background. Truth Nation, it's time for training camp, and that means Dream Drive is back. Thanks to American Family Insurance, young fans can ride bikes to and from practice alongside their favorite players, creating unforgettable moments on two wheels. There's fun for the whole family, too. Play games, soak up the sun, or kick back in the shade. And don't forget the exclusive Packers giveaways. Take home sunglasses, bucket hats, water bottles, and more. It's a Packers tradition you don't want to miss, and it's all sponsored by American Family Insurance. Visit amfam.com today if you are looking for homeowners insurance or car insurance. It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. And, I mean, y'all been asking. I'm addressing the elephant in the room because I was given permission to do that. Again, everybody's feeling what's happening. It was a management decision. And, again, life goes on. And we're going to keep moving. We're going to keep powering through because the purpose is higher than me. The purpose is higher than the station. The purpose is higher than anybody. It's all about providing great content for the community and also giving us a platform where we can talk. And so we got to be able to have that. And like I said before, if you're not happy with anything, simply go to 1017thetruth.com and you can contact management because that's what anybody does when they complain. And trust me, I get a lot of y'all complaints, and I get some of y'all praise too, but I also get a lot of y'all complaints. So feel free again to. If you feel a certain type of way, you can express that because that's what we're here for. We're always looking for feedback on how we can get better. But best to believe, the young, talented folks are going to land on their feet because your greatness is your greatness. So with that being said, Truth Nation, I do want to get in talking about Hackem today, right? Because typically, you know, when I talk about Hackem, usually there's usually some controversy behind it. But before we get into Hackem, I want to talk about audits. And I want to ask y'all, does Milwaukee, yes, the city of Milwaukee, does it need an audit? Now, we've heard Tory Lowe discuss these audits many times, and I stand behind him when he talked about audits. That's something that my brothers always talk about, the malfeasance going on in the community, right, to look into some things. 833-212-1017. Does the city need an audit? Does the city of Milwaukee need an audit? Now, the reason why I say this is because changes are coming to Milwaukee, right? They are. Change is hard, but it can be good at times, right? In a city like Milwaukee that is desperately in need for change, that is something that we should embrace. And this is why when the new superintendent came in, which I did not believe in her, I'll be very honest, she was a breath of fresh air with some of the decisions that she made, right? Out with the old, in with the new. Now, the city of Milwaukee, or excuse me, MPS still has some problematic individuals there, but she made some necessary changes to make it better, right? But that all came after an audit from the state because we weren't turning in our stuff on time, right? We weren't turning in our paperwork on time. We weren't turning in our homework on time, and it was holding up funding not only for the students and lost funding for the students at MPS, but also holding up funding for the complete state. And so there was an audit that was done, right? And so with that audit being done, all of a sudden a new superintendent comes in, and now they have a clear view of some of the work that needs to be done to better our community for our kids. So I'm all for the audit. Now that leads me to the Housing Authority of the City of Milwaukee, also known as Hackem. Their day of reckoning is finally coming. And we heard a lot about Hackem for about 2 years. We heard about some of the egregious things that were happening in Hackem. The bed bugs, the infestations, the slow response times, the terrible paperwork. I mean, I'm telling y'all this right now. Hackem was a mess and still has a lot of issues. But complete mess. I shouldn't say still a lot of issues. They are still a complete mess. They are. But at least they trying to clean up their mess somewhat. And so, again, I'm usually here shedding light on some sort of impropriety Hackem has committed, but not today. Today, I don't need to go in on Hackem because for once, it seems like Hackem is doing something right. So today, I'm going to take the time to applaud the new board for transparency. And that's why I want to ask about auditing. Because the new board of Hackem and their new executive director came in and there was an audit going on, and they actually listened to the audit. And what I want to bring to light, because I feel like I didn't see the story in the Journal Sentinel. And the only reason I found the story is because we have these meetings here at Good Karma Brands that I'm part of. I'm still part of leadership. And as part of those meetings, we have our content folks come together. And we have 620 WTMJ, and they talk about the different things they're going to cover this week. Now, for me, usually they don't say too much that makes me say, ooh. But they said last week there was a meeting that was happening with Hackham to address nepotism. Oh, we're going to talk about that as well. But I said, ooh, I need to know more information about that. And so with that, what I found out was that Hackham had been getting investigated and doing an audit report based off some things that have been taking place. And what we found out is that transparency is a good thing and audits are a good thing, because through that third-party audit that took place with Hackham, they found that the HR manager and the deputy director of Hackham had been hiring family members and people close to them in roles. Now, the HR director was fired in May of 2025, and the deputy director of Hackham left his position in January of 2025. But instead of hiring the best candidates, they were hiring families, members, and friends. Now, again, I'm not against hiring people because if the person you believe is the best for the job, then so be it. But make them go through the actual process of getting hired. Make them actually earn the right to be able to get hired. And it doesn't seem like that was the case. See, according to the report, the HR director, let that sink in. The director of HR used a temporary agency to bring her daughter into the organization before her daughter got hired directly. So she basically had her daughter go through a temp agency to get a job. And when she was here working for the Hackham, she ended up bringing her on full time. And then on top of that, this is where it gets messy. Listen to this. This is according to the report. She brought her daughter in full time, and she noted that if other upper management folks at Hackham could employ their friends and families, she should be able to do the same. Let that sink in. While the community got rats, roaches, and slow response times to the needs, the people in power were using our tax dollars as a tool to pay their family and their friends. As Tori would say, that's the malfeasance that is happening. And that's what bothers me the most, because I'm going to tell you this, I care deeply about the city of Milwaukee, right? I do. And something that always bothers me is when the little guy gets shafted. And I don't think we in Milwaukee, we not little people, but I don't like when people in power abuse their power. It infuriates me. That's why something like this should infuriate you as well, because they were using Milwaukee's neediest population as a way to pay their inner circle instead of trying to find the best talent to best serve the needs of our needy population in our community. They were using money and using their power to hire their friends and their family. See, that bothers me, Truth Nation, and it should bother you as well. So again, that's why I want to know 833-212-1017. I want to hear from y'all, Truth Nation, or you can watch and stream us live on YouTube, 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. But should we have more audits? Because through this audit, we were able to find some of the malfeasance that was happening. Now, there's a lot more stuff going on, but I think this is a good start, and this is a reflection of why Tory Lowe kept asking for audits, because when you have audits with Milwaukee Public Schools, you find out where there are breakdowns in the system and who needs to go. When you have audits in Hackham, you find out and you confirm that Willie Hines had no business in that position and that Hackham was running amok. Again, 833-212-1017. Does Milwaukee need more audits? Now, I also want to congratulate the community, because this is the power of using your voice. Because Truth Nation, if the community did not speak up 2 years ago, and we have folks on our station, right, because we are a community platform, we have folks who came in and talked about some of their experiences that they had inside of Hackham buildings, right? They talked about the culture. They talked about the stuff they had to deal with, the issues that the tenants faced. Now, Willie Hines would have been to continue to run the agency into the ground and negatively impact the tenants and citizens in Milwaukee if it wasn't for you, Truth Nation, if it wasn't for Milwaukee, Truth Nation, actually speaking up. So let this be a great reminder that our voice does work, but also we got to know what's next. who is next. Because we spoke up about MPS, and when they dropped the ball, we didn't let it go unseen. We spoke up about Hack'em to the point where Willie Hines made a terrible joke about how he was in Mexico at his family member's beach in Mexico, looking at the water, thinking, I don't need this. I can just retire. With his $11,000 per month, that's public information, that he gets in retirement. I guess he's earned it. But to be saying that while people are dealing with stress back at home, dealing with stepping on roaches back at their house and talking about Mexico and beaches, how can we continue to expose people through audits? Who is next? Again, 833-212-1017. This is what I want to know because I need to see results being delivered at different organizations like Hack'em, and I want to know who ain't delivering and who we need to audit next. 833-212-1017. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Walls. In 4 minutes, we're going to continue this conversation on Truth to Power, talking about who needs to be audited next, Truth Nation. I look forward to hearing from y'all.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Soak up summer days at the ballpark while they're still here. Be here when the Brewers host the Giants, August 22nd through the 24th. Lead off the weekend with Stranger Things theme night arriving Friday the 22nd. From there, collect a legendary Bob Uecker golf umbrella giveaway for the first 25,000 fans on Saturday the 23rd. And if this series couldn't get any better, it's the return of Willie Adames to American Family Field. Get your seats today at Brewers.com/tickets.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
Literally one call, that's all.
I made one call, and that's all, worry-free.
One call, that's all. It worked.
Just one call, and that's all.
They will do what they say they're going to do. One call, and that's all.
One call, that's all means security.
It's literally one call, that's all.
It's a phrase we'll never forget.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
This is your Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin Community Impact Moment on 1017 The Truth.
And what are some of the ways that you're inspiring people? Because, you know, one of the biggest opportunities, in particular in the African-American community, is access, exposure, and awareness.
For Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin, we've been here 76 years.
Wow.
And our mantra is saving the lives you love. So if someone you love needs a blood transfusion and they're in any hospital in Southeast Wisconsin here, that blood's coming from us. And so we're trying to make sure that we're communicating that, because I think folks maybe don't understand that blood can't be manufactured. And summers are always tough because schools are out and we collect about 20 to 25% of our blood from schools. Mm-hmm. So it's always a day-to-day struggle. We say that the blood that's on the shelves is the blood that saves lives. And a lot of times people are compelled to donate when something bad happens. And our mission and our job is to educate folks so that we can get ahead of the curve and keep 3 days of inventory on the shelves. Mm-hmm. So we're in a decent spot right now, but we're on the streets every day trying to inspire people to join our mission. One of our big projects that we're proud of is Versity on King, which is part of the Thrive On collaboration in the Gimbel Schuster building on Martin Luther King Drive. And next year, we're going to open a destination center there. It'll be a blood donation center, but it'll be more than that, because we've realized that we can't be transactional with our relationships in the Black community. We need to do things that are intentional and that show that we're there to stay. But the reason that we're there is because not enough people that look like us donate. And so for disorders like sickle cell disease that disproportionately affect us, the race can matter. And I like to say that, you know, Black folks have a superpower in their blood. 44% of Black blood donors will have this rare trait that makes their blood more likely to be able to be a match for a sickle cell patient. And that 44%, like that is way higher than what we would find in other races.
To make an impact by donating blood in your community, visit versity.org today.
Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Nazir Spencer. The Brewers achieved their 14-game win streak, but finally stopped by the Cincinnati Reds Sunday evening, losing 3-2.
Anderson coming set. And he throws. Line drive, base hit, pulled past the diving third baseman Siegler. It rolls all the way to the wall and left to end the 14-game franchise record winning streak for the Brewers.
The big series against the Chicago Cubs starts today with a doubleheader. Brewers sit atop the MLB at 78 and 45, ahead of the Cubs by 8 games. Packers begin their final week of preseason this week, looking to return home at Lambeau to take on the Seattle Seahawks. That game begins at Saturday at 3 p.m. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
It is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
I'm one of the realest in this, man. I got them streets. I came in the game with everything I wanted. It's about respect to me. Love to see when I walk up in the club and run up on me, tell me I'm the realest living. You know what I'm saying?
I'm the realest in it. You already know. Got Trap of the Year 4 times in a row. What they give? A lifetime supply, baking soda, clientele. A rolling watch, 2 pots, and 3 scales.
It is Truth to Power on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am your host, Kyle Wallace, here on Truth to Power, coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue. Again, you can call in, text in at 833-212-1017. That is 833-212-1017. You can also watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe as well. On the other side, we were talking about Hackham, and we were talking about the fact that there was an audit that was done inside of Hackham, which exposed the culture of nepotism inside of the Housing Authority of the City of Milwaukee, which led to people losing or leaving their jobs. And what I want to say is good. Good. The audit worked. What else should the community need to have audited? 833-212-1017. That's what I want to know from y'all. And for me, I think it's crazy, right? It's crazy to me that nepotism ran so rampant amongst upper management inside of Hackham. That's the crazy thing to me. A place that we already know that was misusing funds in the past, right? They were misusing funds. They weren't allocating funds the way they were supposed to be allocated. And then in addition to that, you have people, because of the misuse of funds and misappropriation of funds, people actually lost their jobs because of the misappropriation of funds, right? And I'm not talking about upper management. I'm not talking about folks that were brought on because of nepotism. I'm talking about folks that applied, went through the interview process, and got the job. Those folks lost their job because of the incompetence of Hackham, the incompetence of leadership at Hackham. And that's why I said we had to have this type of audit, because we got to figure out so something like this never happens again. And nepotism in the workplaces is one of the most annoying things. It really is, right? And when you see someone who doesn't have the necessary skill set to succeed and uplift the organization, but because of who they know, not what they know, they are allowed to run amok and destroy organizations from within. We all know these type of people. Hell, coming from where I came from, y'all know I went to school, grew up in Milwaukee, but y'all know I went to school in the burbs. And let me tell you about them kids. A lot of them kids went to college to get the piece of paper. They went to college to party, have a good time, get the piece of paper, because they understood the nepotism that they had. There was a position waiting for them when they graduated. They couldn't get C's and D's because they do get degrees, but then they had a job waiting for them when they graduated. There's so many different people I know who aren't the most intelligent, but because of their parents or who they knew, family members, could get them jobs at major bank places, major financial wealth places, right? So for me, I understand that in private corporations, nepotism is just going to happen. Matter of fact, I got a friend where she travels the world. Let me tell you, this girl traveled the world. I'd be like, damn, girl, you ain't never at work. Well, she ain't got to work because of the fact that her dad works in finance and has a great portfolio, and all she got to wait for him is to retire. And guess where that portfolio go? It go right down to her. So to me, it's one thing to see nepotism inside of a private company. It is what it is. Y'all can do what y'all want to do. But you just have to deal with it in the private company. But when it comes to a public entity like Hackham or other public entities around here, you can't have stuff like that. You can't do that. You got to get the best, most qualified individual. And that's why I'm asking y'all, 833-212-1017, who else do y'all believe needs to be audited? Now, I have my list, and I can tell y'all my list to start with. The first place that needs to be audited is the Milwaukee Police Department. The Milwaukee Police Department, because I'm very curious to see more about the cover-ups that they have, because I know not only internal cover-ups where they, internally covering up stuff that happened externally, but also I'm very curious to see the abuse of power and the complaints that they have. Because the police, we already know, have a track record of abusing their power. And when one officer complains to somebody else about another officer and files a complaint, depending on who you file that complaint against, you may end up having to deal with some backlash from that, some retribution from that. So I'll be curious to see that or hear that from the Milwaukee Police Department. Now, also, somebody who I would believe needs to be audited is the city of Milwaukee. I believe the city of Milwaukee needs to be audited as well. This needs to happen because they need to look into some decisions and how decisions are made. And one of the things that I'm curious about is I look in downtown Milwaukee and I see all the beautiful developments. I hear about these TIFs, right? These zones these tax incremental financing of these zones where they tax and they find ways to fund the developments downtown Milwaukee, the businesses in downtown Milwaukee. But what I want to know is through an audit is how do they determine what area gets what development? Because when I go through downtown Milwaukee, I see the beauty of downtown Milwaukee. But when I go through the north side of Milwaukee, I'm a little confused about where the beauty is at. I mean, there's beautiful people and there's some great businesses, but I'm trying to figure out how do we get more businesses in inner city and what work is being done behind the scenes to advocate for more businesses in our community. I always think about a story about the tearing down of 794. That's a conversation that's being had. And that conversation, the tearing down 794, trust me, it was done behind back doors and with wealthy people. That conversation wasn't brought to the community about, hey, tearing down 794 and putting up developments, how that would be beneficial. I drive that way to get to work. Trust me, I don't want it to be a flat street. So how did that come about? 833-212-1017. I want to hear from you when it comes to what do you believe needs to also have some type of audit. And the last one before I get to you, Truth Nation, I see y'all texts, I see y'all calls. We're going to get to y'all. I see y'all on YouTube as well. And I also want to audit to figure out something as well, because this is something that always kind of confused me, is that how did people like Willie Hines and Ashanti Hamilton get the jobs that they were unqualified for? Now, when I say this, is yes, they had a lot of experience working in different fields, but what about their resumes made Willie Hines good to run a housing authority? What about Ashanti Hamilton made him fit to run formerly known as the Office of Violence Prevention? What did they have on their resume that made them the most ideal candidate for the job? How did they get to that position? That's the thing I'm curious about. Now, Truth Nation, what's interesting about this is, were there agreements made between government officials to dictate where they were going to place people in order for people to stand down? Did our mayor tell Ashanti Hamilton and tell Willie Hines, who both had aspirations to run for run for mayor? I know for Ashanti, I used to work at Marquette, and Ashanti Hamilton had announced, I believe, he was running for mayor, and then they threw some stuff out there about him. But he wanted to run for mayor. It was the worst kept secret that Willie Hines wanted to run for mayor as well. They both wanted to run for mayor, but then all of a sudden they both stood down. And all of a sudden when Chevy gets elected, they both get appointed to these positions. They end up with cushy, nice-paying jobs and no accountability, because we do know Willie Hines was able to leave on his own. He was not fired. And I say it all the time. Met Chevy many times, great guy. The job he's doing in downtown Milwaukee, fantastic. But the greater Milwaukee community, especially the north side, it's been abysmal. Very, very bad. But I do want to know, how is it possible that these two individuals, like Willie Hines, who I'm sure is a very smart individual, but completely unqualified to run the housing authority, and Ashanti Hamilton, who I'm sure is a very smart individual, but I don't know how qualified He is for the Office of Violence Prevention. 833-212-1017. Truth Nation, I want to hear from you. Does the city of Milwaukee need an audit? Al, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
I think they do need an audit, but also keep in mind, Kyle, as long as they're overlooking the north side, that's why they put them over there. Because if it was a bunch of like River Hills type of people, white people ain't highly wealthy white people ain't putting no black people over no money to make sure that the white people do right. That would be an insult. So they probably got the position because they say you're dealing with blacks and low income, so we feel fine with you over there. And you make sure you leave room so we can bring some of these scalawags, these derelicts, and these transients from the south side so we can start gentrification on the low, because we're going to bring the worst of the worst from over there with the rooming houses over on Greenfield with all the coke and dope and the prostitutes with the bras and panties that look like Jeep Creepers and Skeletor. But you just leave some room so we can bring them to the North Side to start our gentrification. But we know if it was Bayside, Fox Point, none of them blacks will be over there overseeing the well-to-do whites.
Ain't that the truth?
Have
Al.
a good day. Bye-bye.
Al, you did a great job creating a picture of what these folks in these crack houses that you said on the south side with their lines. I literally see a skinny white woman with, like, look like she probably need to eat some food, running down the street. Like I can envision it. Can you envision what you was talking about, Rhea? You can see it. You can see it. You can see it. I know you see it. I know you see it. Gross. Good job. Good job. Good job.
Bruh.
He did a great job. It's the truth. He did a great job painting the picture. 833-212-1017. Who else in the community needs to be audited? And this is based off the Housing Authority of the City of Milwaukee being audited. And based off that audit, they were able to find that there had been a culture, right? There had been a culture of nepotism inside of the Housing Authority of the City of Milwaukee, where the HR director, yes, the person who was in charge of hiring, hired her own daughter, and the justification the HR director gave, this is the person that's supposed to know the rules and regulations, the justification they gave was because somebody else did it, so why can't she? I just want y'all to understand that. The person who's in charge of HR said somebody else did it, so why can't I? Again, the focus was just totally wrong, and our folks suffered like so often. 833-212-1017. Who else needs to be audited? Al from Sherman Park here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Hey, Kyle. The whole Common Council, I don't know how they gave that man that money to develop the Sears building, and it still ain't developed, and they kept giving him more money.
Yep. You're talking about Caitlin Haywood, the second, I believe, or it's the first? I think it might be the second.
Yeah, $9 million total, I believe.
And they keep pushing it down, man. Again, that talk about the buddy system. When you within the system, they give you handouts, man. You're right. That Sears building, that's the Milwaukee Mall, basically over there on Fond du Lac. I think that's like 17th, 18th, 19th in Fond du Lac, Al.
Yeah. And then Willie Hines shouldn't have been charged of anything after he lost that mayor's race, after he came out wanting to sell the city of Milwaukee water rights for 100 years to a private company. Water is our most valuable asset in this city. There's going to be a time when the whole country is going to be thirsty and going to want our Great Lakes water. And the MTS school board, they need some audit.
That's a good one.
They need some serious audit.
What specifically would you want to be audited within that?
Oh, well, who's getting the contracts? Why are they getting the contracts? How much money you're giving, and who they related to?
Ain't that the truth? I appreciate you, Al. 833-212-1017. There definitely is a way that we need to audit. That's the thing that bothers me, is that for somebody like myself, yes, ma'am.
I was going to say, Ed called in too, but his call dropped, and he said he wanted to edit the sheriff's department, that they're getting paid too much for overtime.
Oh, yeah. You know when it comes to overtime, Rhea, the problem is this, is that when you're understaffed, people got to get overtime. The sheriffs, police, they all get paid a lot of money for overtime, but, like, you have no choice. Hey, Cody, sounds good to see you. He grabbed the mic like he wanted to come on. Hey, buddy. But no, I definitely think I'm all for auditing a lot of different organizations, 100%. Every public organization, every 3 years should have to go through an audit. Every single organization, especially when it has taxpayer money. 833-212-1017. We're talking about who needs to be audited next. And again, this is based off the Housing Authority of the City of Milwaukee doing an audit and basically finding malfeasance that Tory Lowe's been talking about for years. And also MPS had an audit and they found some issues as well and they let some people go. Who is next? How can we make this community better? We'll wrap up the show in 3 minutes. You're listening to Truth to Power right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. Need a way to hype up your day?
Hey, is this Carolyn?
It is.
Congratulations, Carolyn. You just won this.
Congratulations. Woo!
God is good all the time.
What would you do with $5,000?
I'm going to buy my nieces some school clothes because my nephew just passed away.
Aww.
So I'm going to get them some clothes.
Stay tuned into 1017 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
It's 1017 The Truth. Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. It all started with a new invention in 1925, the roll screen. The ability to roll a window screen up and down like a shade. Pella invested in this breakthrough when the business was born in Pella, Iowa, and has introduced the world to innovation, game-changing decisions ever since. They've been at it for a century. When you want long-lasting comfort and reliability, it's easy to trust Pella. Every piece is specifically constructed for you and your home and always designed with innovation and rigorously tested for quality and performance. The Pella team takes pride in constructing quality windows and doors with meticulous attention to every detail. Investing in new Pella windows and doors creates long-term energy savings and durability that lasts for years. There's no reason to wait because if you order by August 31st, get 0% interest for up to 60 months. Certain restrictions apply. Yes, that's up to 5 years with no interest payments, so don't miss out. Visit PellaWI.com today.
I've always been taught, save a little now so you can live a lot later. That lesson stuck with me. Now with U.S. Bank Smartly Checking and Savings and their digital tools, I can track everything from my daily spending to planning my dream vacation. It's not just about saving. It's about honoring where you came from and carving out new traditions one goal at a time with a little help from U.S. Bank. Building a future together. That's the power of us. Visit usbank.com/powerofus to learn more. Member FDIC.
We Energies want you to keep this important safety message in mind. Before you start digging, planting, or landscaping on your property, call 811 to have underground utilities marked. Calling 811 at least 3 business days before you plan to dig will help you know what's below and can prevent a hazardous situation. Our representatives will mark the underground utilities on your property for free. So remember, stay safe and call before you dig.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
At Crash Course, we believe cost shouldn't stand in the way of safe driving. If you're 14 to 19 years old, you may qualify for 100% free driver's ed through Wisconsin's Driver Education Grant Program. That includes the full online course and all required behind-the-wheel lessons at no cost to your family. With convenient school-based pickup through Southeast Wisconsin, getting started is simple. Crash Course, the best choice driving school. Visit crashcoursewi.com to pre-register and hit the road with confidence.
You are listening to Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
1, 2, 3, ho!
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I'm your host, Kyle Walsh, and we're coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue, and we're talking about the big news that came out towards the end of last week, that there was an audit done for the Housing Authority of the City of Milwaukee that found a culture of nepotism as high up with the deputy director of Hackham, who was hiring his family and his friends into positions, and also the HR director hiring her daughter. It made me think about how important the audit is, because without the audit, this would not have come to light, and we would have been left in the dark about some of the cultural issues and nepotism issues we have inside of Hackham. But 833-212-1017, we'll take Miss Sandra last call here. Miss Sandra, what are your thoughts about who needs to be audited next?
I think next. Okay, you said. Okay, I think because what I do, I'm gonna say this real quick. What I do, I always look at people like I'm gonna give a name, Robin Boss, and these people got good jobs up there, paid by us, our taxpayers. But how come he can have $1 million staff? We can't even get the city fixed up. Every time we look around, ain't no money for the city here. Ain't no money for the roads. They're halfway through those. I mean, we need to order all of them because, I mean, they make big bucks. Go look at the worst that they have. They make big bucks to get a paycheck off of us. We can't get nothing done hardly for our city without them saying we need more money.
Ms. Sanders said audit everybody. Audit everybody. I think that's some of the sentiments that are shared. Somebody also said audit Milwaukee Waterworks. Boy, I tell you, them water bills, the meters don't be working like they supposed to. So they said get audit. If they send y'all a letter in the mail about y'all meters being off for water meters, let them come by. Let them come by and check because more than likely it may lower your bill. It may lower your bill. But again, thank y'all so much, Truth Nation, for chiming in today. And again, I think that the biggest message of the day is the fact that accountability is something that is so important. And we as a community can utilize our voices to hold everybody accountable, right? Everybody accountable. Because when you have nepotism happening in different organizations, the only one that suffers is us, right? In the community here in Milwaukee and other communities as well. So again, I think it's important for us to understand what happened with this Hackham situation because a group of residents who are tenants of Hackham, the worst landlord in the city of Milwaukee, the housing authority of the city of Milwaukee is the worst landlord in the city of Milwaukee. Because they stood up and they spoke up, we got positive results. So again, Truth Nation, I leave y'all with this. Stand up and speak out. You don't have to sit silent. If you see something you don't like, you can speak up. There's always an avenue. You can raise enough hell in order to get change made. And when I say raise hell safely, go to the media, go picket, do what you got to do to bring attention to something that you feel like is not right. So thank y'all so much, Truth Nation. I love y'all. I needed y'all. I appreciate y'all. And again, I will always do this for y'all in the city of Milwaukee because I am black and authentically black, and I love y'all. And can't nobody ever tell me nothing what I can or can't say. I love y'all so much, Truth Nation. Peace out. I'll see y'all tomorrow. The Tori Lowe Show's up next. Peace out.